In the sport of professional boxing, there is this idea that entire generations or eras can be defined by a single fighter, one who showcases remarkable skills and abilities over a period of time, leaving their mark on the sport and forever engraving their name into its history books. The two biggest examples of this being Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, household names despite many never having even seen all of their fights. An interesting thing about these kind of fighters is it's almost like there cannot be two like this in the same era, as if the universe couldn't handle it. Sure, some eras had stronger opposition, like in Ali's case, with Foreman, Frazier, Liston, Patterson. You get the idea. But despite this, the fact remains. An era can only handle one defining fighter. Which leads to the question, what if there were two at once? I'll do you one better. What if the biggest two were pitted against each other? Mike Tyson versus Muhammad Ali. A commonly debated subject amongst casual fans and superfans alike. A very divisive subject as well. Today, let's take a deeper look, and I'll give reasoning to explain who I think would win and why. Now keep in mind, fantasy fights are very opinionated and subjective, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, let's start by taking a look at both men's style and techniques. Let's start with Muhammad Ali. Ali's approach to boxing was as beautiful as it was dangerous, circling the ring with flashy, fleet-footed footwork. With his hands low, his speed utilized to intercept, counter, or throw blistering combinations that the eye could barely see. His low hands made his punches hard to read, and left his face open, but he used this to bait his opponents into overcommitting, while his reflexes and understanding of distance allowed him to capitalize by just nearly dodging a blow and firing a lightning bolt of a counter, one that often shook his opponents to their core. When he did get caught or cornered or even dropped, he always kept going, always kept fighting. Even against Norton, when he got his jaw broken, Ali kept fighting hard. His willpower and grit kept him going strong no matter the situation, no matter the round. To summarize, Ali was a masterful outboxer who broke a lot of rules, like having the hands low, but this worked for him simply because of how great he was. On top of all of that, blazing speed, amazing timing, and unbreakable willpower. Truly a remarkable fighter. Now on to Mike Tyson. If Ali represented the beauty and violence, Tyson was the complete opposite, standing for the brutality and viciousness the sport had to offer. Tyson utilized the peekaboo boxing style, forged by legendary trainer Cus D'Amato. The peekaboo style is a broken rhythm counter style, which relied on head movement to come forward and blistering combos from all angles, as well as footwork for cutting off the ring and the ability to fight from both stances. Tyson would use his head movement and speed to counter with deadly precision, sometimes even leaping into a left hook to cover ground or flash KO his victims. Tyson's signature finisher, the 6-4, or lead hook to the body, lead uppercut to the head, was his go-to in close range, or when his opponent was cornered. When he smelled blood in the water, Tyson went all out, tossing combos relentlessly until they went down or to sleep. Tyson was a fast starter and usually aimed to end the fight as quickly as possible. However, he was more than capable of going the distance and winning by decision, contrary to many of his detractors. To put it simply, Tyson was an aggressive pressure fighter who used impressive defensive skills to make opportunities to attack with fight-ending blows. His consistency allowed him to intimidate his opponents, having won fights before they even began. With that brief breakdown out of the way, let's look at some of their opponents who had similar styles. How did Ali fare against aggressive pressure fighters, or the peekaboo style, and how did Tyson fare against tall, quick, flashy outboxers? Ali had a trilogy with Joe Frazier, a monster with a left hook of legend and the stamina to go with it. One who kept working the entire time, even in the 15-round fights of that era. In these fights, we see that Ali could not only withstand insane amounts of punishment, but also didn't crack under pressure, utilizing his speed, counters, and ability to circle the ring to his advantage, going 2-1 against Frazier. These fights being an insane example of durability and mental fortitude. As for peekaboo-style opponents, not many utilize this style, but fortunately for Ali, he faced Floyd Patterson, one of Cuss's students and the former youngest champion of all time, second to Mike Tyson himself. So, how did he fare against Patterson? Well, he absolutely dominated, landing effortlessly, timing the head movement, and being able to avoid the speed of Patterson, who was one of the fastest heavyweights at the time. He seemed in his element against a peekaboo fighter. Now let's see how Mike did against master outboxers with a similar style to Ali. He absolutely starched Larry Holmes, who was one of the most underrated and underappreciated champions at heavyweight. However, this Larry was not the guy who weathered the storm against Schaefer's or who went tooth and nail with Ken Norton. This was an older, fading Holmes. He wasn't shot quite yet, but he definitely wasn't at his peak form either. However, Mike still cut him off and seemed unbothered by Larry's footwork. Another instance of Tyson facing a style similar to Ali was against Tyrell Biggs, who really tried to replicate Ali and did have some success early on with his jab and his lateral footwork, which kept him safe at first. When Mike got too close, he tied up. This went on for a little bit, but as the fight went on, Mike adapted and managed to cut him off. After this, Biggs was just a sitting duck for powerful punches and nasty combinations. The fight did go all the way to the 7th, which is something to keep in mind, but it was pretty much domination by Mike. With that in mind, Tyson didn't really seem to struggle all that much with outboxers like Ali. He either bulldozed them, like he did against Holmes, or adapted and cut off the ring effectively, like against Biggs. Both fighters seemed strong against fighters with similar styles, which makes this debate all the more interesting. So, who wins and why? I think there are a few things outside of the ring that come into play here. You see, Ali fought some of the scariest, hardest hitting boxers in his career and in the sport itself. Against the likes of Frazier, Liston, Foreman, and Norton. I don't think he gets intimidated. I don't think anything changes here. And he always talked smack pre-fight. From the moment the fight is announced with Tyson, he would be making every comment possible to piss him off. I think it would work, but again, this is a prime Mike Tyson with the aura of invincibility. He probably won't let it visibly affect him as much as maybe a 90s Mike would have. However, the groundwork would already be laid. In this debate, it's going to be a 12-round fight, just to be fair to Tyson, because he didn't have any experience in 15-round bouts. So here's how I think it would go. I believe it would be a lot like Frazier versus Ali in the sense that there will be a lot of dramatic tide shifts. But I do think it would also be different in many ways. With Tyson being a fast starter, I think he gets out to a hot start against Ali, maybe hurting him, maybe having him against the ropes and landing vicious combinations, maybe even knocking him down with a good, well-timed hook off of a stance switch. But Ali is made of tougher stuff. I think he weathers the storm, or at least the early storm, and gets back on the bicycle and starts outpointing Tyson, winning rounds just by jabbing and circling and getting off the ropes with his lateral footwork. On the cards, by around 7 to 8, I'd say it would be dead even. I think Tyson is slowing, but there would probably be a moment in which he does catch Ali again and is reinvigorated with energy and begins to pressure. But here's where I think Ali's mental edge would just come into play and completely dismantle Tyson. I think he clenches Tyson after getting wobbled. Mike's given everything he can, and Ali just whispers in his ear, "Is that all you got?" From here, numerous things could happen. I could see Tyson lashing out over the course of the next few rounds with illegal blows, headbutts, you name it. Or I could see him starting to kind of doubt his power, doubt his ability, and then Ali just takes charge. Another likely situation, he pisses off Mike. Maybe this version of Mike doesn't cheat, but he starts getting emotional and begins to overcommit on his shots, and Ali capitalizes with really fast counters, maybe even buckling or putting Tyson down. from the 9th to the 12th on, I think it's all Ali. I think Tyson is just kind of gassed. His mind's not in it, and I got Ali by UD in a very epic fight and with lots of tide shifts, as I said before. But personally, I just think Ali is too durable, too experienced against dangerous intimidators, and just on a different level. If Biggs could survive to the 7th against a prime Mike, he is nowhere near Ali's level. So insert Ali there, and I don't think Mike does nearly as well. I think he gets outboxed. I think he is unable to cut him off as effectively as he did against Biggs. And even if he does land, Ali has shown he's made of tougher stuff. Now, obviously that's just my interpretation, and it could easily go vastly different. I think if they fought 10 times, I see Mike winning maybe 3 times out of 10. He's got the tools, but those tools don't really matter against such an outlier like Muhammad Ali, and a prime one at that. So, who do you guys got? I'm sure I'll have a lot of angry Tyson fans in the comments down below. So, that's it. That's all I've got for today. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. This will be a reoccurring series, one that I'll try and improve the format of over time. Aside from that, I'm working on part 2 of the crossguard video, but I want to make sure it's as good as possible to teach the style, so it will be probably another couple weeks before I get that uploaded. With that said, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.